We would like to welcome you to Audio Suplex Live, brought to you by the Nerd Complex Podcast Network. Hey, how's it going, guys? Episode 8.
It's great.
It's great to be 8.
Episode 8.
I'm glad I got to make that joke. We did like a test run beforehand, and I made that joke, and I was like, I hope I remember to do that during the actual show.
Oh, we could have done without it, actually.
It's great.
It's great to be 8. We made it.
Yeah,
We
episode
made
8.
Technically, we've done more than 8 episodes.
Okay,
but
you do this every week.
I'm just saying,
When do I have to? Okay, listen.
whoever's in charge of numbering these episodes does not know how to count all
Our
of
pay-per-view specials
aren't episodes.
They're like WWE house shows. They're not canon. They're not part of like the name.
Okay, well, what about when we do our roundtables? That's a different type of show too.
It still counts as canon. It's still part of our like normal
canon
weekly Thursday show.
Okay, that makes sense. So any show on Thursday is numbered.
Anything
Any
that's
show
not on Thursday
It's not
just
numbered.
gets its own name.
Which brings me to a point. We are going to have a special edition show next Friday night.
What? Friday
for
night
Wrestling
live?
Mania.
A little bit longer episode.
Yeah,
because
it's
we're gonna
gonna
go
be-
over all the details, all of the feuds, everything leading into WrestleMania.
It's going to be Audio Suplex Live XL.
Holy crap!
It's going to be huge. It's
can't
going to
wait.
be huge.
So you're gonna love our episodes.
We have the best episodes.
I agree.
We have the best episodes. So, Corey, what's going on tonight?
Well, it's gonna be a basic show. We're gonna go over. We got a lot of news this week.
Oh, this show is nothing but basic.
We got a lot of news, and then we're just gonna talk about Raw, and we're gonna talk about Smackdown, and then we're gonna go home.
So let's introduce our crack panel of wrestling enthusiasts tonight. I am co-host Dr. Travis.
That's right.
Sitting to my right, friend of the show, constant companion,
He's pretty regular on our Thursday night
regular.
show.
Crack panel. I'm still laughing.
crackhead panel.
I don't think
Heartbreak
it's-
Kid Mike Cox
What up?
in the building.
Hey,
Happy
you
to be
went
back.
to Raw
I did.
a couple weeks ago?
I did.
Where was it at?
I was late with Joe Louis Arena.
Never heard of it. Is that a big
It's
deal?
like a bingo hall.
I heard I heard that's not even there anymore.
Jesus.
I was late, but I missed Brock and I missed Sasha.
Well, I don't know if you actually missed him.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I missed Sasha.
who?
I was definitely hurt about that.
So,
But yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'm a heel Corey.
and we
the
have
worst.
a guest producer this week.
Yeah, La Luchadora.
I was going to think because the mask kind of does anybody get reminded of Todd McFarlane's Spawn?
Yeah,
From
yeah,
the- okay,
yeah.
okay.
Other than the mohawk, but yeah, the Spawn face.
So it's kind of like if the clown from Spawn and Spawn
Oh,
spawned. And speaking of spawning, let's jump into the news.
It's the news. What is the news, Travis?
All right, we've got a lot to cover this week. So our first little issue, or our first little piece of news this week, is the leak of illicit photographs and videos from a number of
This
WWE
is our
supers.
first piece of news.
I mean, it's the biggest piece
You're
out
gonna go
there.
in
Man.
hot.
You can't.
Well, I've seen bigger pieces than. I'm. All right, sorry. We did not plan this.
Oh no.
Okay, so the first piece of news: what happened? What leaked?
So a number of illicit photos of not only Paige but a number of WWE superstars leaked over the weekend. It's kind of like a repeat of that big cell phone hack of a couple years ago.
Yeah.
The I believe
I'm not going to say what it is.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you guys can use the Google.
We don't need people who want to know what it is. Know what it is.
Indeed.
So long story short, we won't take long spending on this because I feel like everybody in the wrestling community and even people outside of the wrestling community have been aware of this all weekend long. So
It's kind of big news.
kind of big news. I would feel remiss if we didn't touch on it. Not everything's a pun.
I know. We should touch on it just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then move on.
Yeah.
Maybe both of us, two of us, can touch on it at the same time. So you can, you can touch. Oh, okay. Well, we won't go too far into it, but some pictures leaked, and
You won't go too far into
WWE is not going to pursue any penalties
And
towards
as they
them.
shouldn't.
Yeah, she didn't do it on purpose. She being Paige.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean, you run into an issue where things that are in my opinion, things that you do in your personal life are literally just that personal. And if somebody were to take that information and share it against your will, it's not like she willingly put this information and these things.
She willingly recorded the information,
and that's fine. Like, and I'm not going to get into a question on whether or not
I will say there's one. So they've already said that she's not going to get in any trouble. Blah blah blah. There is one image that has to do with a championship belt that I think that maybe she should be punished for that, because that's kind of.
That is a bit
the thing that happened to that belt.
Yeah, the belt in question being the NXT Women's title,
and it has been passed on to other women since.
Yeah, Charlotte was after Paige, and then a number of different women held the belt.
Bailey, Sasha,
and then now Asuka, whom I would not want to be in the room with Asuka when she found out about that, because I already said the other night that we need to just put the Universal title on Asuka to give it the prestige that you're looking for, but Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think, that she should get in trouble for that?
No.
Do you think that they should come out with a new belt?
Definitely.
A new belt design?
Well, the thing is, too, like, a lot of times those belts get replaced, and sometimes even
right.
on, like,
the odds of it
house show
actually
circuits,
being
An actual belt.
the same belt.
I mean,
who knows?
there's a chance there, but I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I don't want to spend too long talking about this.
Yeah, I just remembered the belt thing, and I was like, that's the only thing I think that she could possibly get in trouble for.
I will say this: I did recap Raw this week, which we'll get to a little bit later on. But I know I probably don't speak for the rest of the table, but I waited with bated breath to see how they were going to, if at all, address it, because obviously Xavier Woods is being kind of associated with all this kind of going on as well, and. I don't know. I think the way they handled it was well. I think they knew they couldn't avoid it, but they also
they didn't want to spend too much time.
Exactly. It was a pre-taped segment. And it was done in the way I think they should have.
Yeah, it was hard.
So all right, cool.
Let's move on.
So
that's enough of that.
Moving on to our favorite part of the week, the weekly WWE Hall of Fame 2017 news.
Our final edition, possibly
the final edition, because WWE has announced over the last week all of the inductors for the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2017. So I'll just kind of go down the list here. We might break down a few of these, but Beth Phoenix will be inducted by longtime friend and tag team partner Natalya. They teamed in 2011 as the what did I say that was? Can't remember the name of the team.
Pinup Monsters.
The Pinup Monsters.
The Lady Pinups.
The Pinup Strong.
Pinup Strong.
Teddy Long will be inducted by longtime friends Ron Simmons and JBL, the APA.
Okay.
Diamond Dallas Page will be seen in by former WCW president and friend Eric Bischoff.
I'm excited about that one.
I'm very excited about that one. Kurt Angle will be inducted by John Cena, who famously made his main roster debut in a segment with John Cena.
Open challenge, yeah. I like it.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat will be inducting Rick Rude, who famously they had a feud together in WCW. And then probably most interesting of the entire bunch would be Jim Cornette, who famously has not appeared with the WWE since 2005 and had
12 years.
An estranged relationship with them, to say the least.
Did you ever watch his shoot videos or listen to his shoot interviews or anything on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
So good.
I'm just saying, just keep Kevin Dunn with outside of like arm's length of him, because he will strangle him. We'll be inducting the Rock and Roll Express. So
rightfully so.
What do you guys think of that list?
I'd say the inductors this year really star-studded
stellar group.
cast.
I was telling you before the show, I think I might. I don't want to say I'm more excited for the inductors than I am the inductees.
It's close.
It's a good list of inductors. I mean,
it balances out.
I do think we're going to see some interesting stuff with Jim Cornette. I don't think he's got enough respect to put the Rock and Roll Express in properly, and not.
He's not going to do anything stupid.
No.
A future paycheck.
No, true.
No. Just don't let him see Kevin Owens.
Right.
He doesn't like that guy.
It'll be good to see Eric Bischoff back in again. I know he's been kind of in and around the company.
Is it true he's back, better than ever?
In fact, I actually have it on good authority that he is known for making things better. Like WCW.
He's got a knack for it, yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Okay, that was interesting news.
So yeah, pretty cool.
DDP, yeah.
I'm so excited for DDP.
Yeah,
to go in.
He deserves it.
Yeah, for sure. All the good things he's done after leaving the ring.
He definitely deserves it.
Helping those other guys. He's the reason, Ultimate Warrior and Scott Hall were able to appear at their.
Oh, you mean Jake the Snake?
Oh, that's right, Jake the Snake. Well, no, Ultimate Warrior, no.
I don't think he was DDP.
Wasn't he addicted to things?
Competition, maybe. Have you seen the guy?
I
You will
guess so.
not slander Warrior in front of me.
That's all right. He'll spend enough time slandering you.
All right.
Anyhow, so recent rumors have turned up online that WWE has been in negotiations to purchase Ring of Honor, the honorable ring.
Exciting.
The rumor first reported by Pro Wrestling Sheet claims that WWE has been in negotiations since negotiations. Wow,
I got you.
Yeesh. Since January to purchase and would move ROH's weekly show to the WWE network. No word on whether the contracts for the workers would come with the purchase, but with ROH's current roster, it would be interesting to see how the deal, if it were to happen, would affect the current roster.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit before too, and I think it would be cool if they had that as like another NXT. You know, you still have your Ring of Honor, you have your NXT. They're both the farming, promotions that WWE wants to use. They've used to use more than one in the past.
Right.
You know,
it would be interesting to see them
FCW,
both.
Ohio Valley Wrestling.
And you could even have like a competition between the two brands on the
That'd be
network.
dope.
That would be sweet. Like a Raw and SmackDown, you have Ring of
ROH
Honor and NXT.
Yeah.
That'd be epic.
That would be sweet.
NXT can kind of go back to being more of the homegrown talent where
that'd be
maybe they
sweet.
can kind of filter in guys through ROH that have maybe have
That'd
indie
be
names
sweet.
that you can kind of build off of. So,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of speculation to be had for that.
Nothing official from Ring of Honor or WWE.
These are just speculation at this point. Now, looking at the roster, there's a lot of guys on the ROH roster currently that I think WWE has been interested in for a while and has maybe tried to before. Obviously, the Hardys are on there now. You have the Young Bucks, who the WWE has been enamored with trying to get their hands on. Adam Cole.
I think the thing is a lot of those guys are signed to other contracts, though, would be the issue.
Yeah.
So they're signed to New Japan, or they're signed to TNA or Impact.
Right.
Or, some of those other CZW?
Correct.
Yeah, there you go. So that would be, I think, the only real issue is if they block off. They have the rules like NXT and all them have where you're kind of stuck.
It's interesting because WWE has definitely softened their stance on indie wrestling in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
like
with the,
it used to be
the UK Championship tournament, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Well,
Those
and
guys are
even-
still wrestling in other promotions and appearing on NXT.
They even announced that this year during Access, they're going to be having during Access, they're going to have in-ring competitions between not only NXT and 205 Live roster people, but they're also going to have workers from Progress and ICW from the UK at WWE Access this year. So these are actual indie companies that are working on WWE's like time and property.
Yeah,
like they're
that's so
actually
awesome.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing with this, if the deal were to go down, would be the tape library, because look at the WWE roster now. Look at you guys that are on top of the card. Your Kevin Owens, your Seth Rollins, your
Sami Zayn.
AJ Styles, your Sami Zayn, your Samoa Joes. These are all guys who have had long tenure.
Dan Bryan, for when
Daniel
he
Bryan.
gets inducted in the Hall of Fame, they can use a ton of footage.
So many archives.
These are guys who have had a long history with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of interesting to see if this were to go down, how they would use that. But it would be nice to see that kind of come to the forefront and on the network so that this could get exposure. So
I kind of hope it happens. I mean, I'm sure there could be negatives because you never
Yeah.
know what they're going to do with it. But I think overall, I think it would be really cool.
yeah. And kind of a bit of related news, also reported by Pro Wrestling Sheet, the Hardys have officially been offered contracts from the WWE.
Dum dum dum. What?
It's rumored that their current deal with ROH is actually set to end in April. There are speculations that they will work the ROH show before WrestleMania, which is
April 1st.
April 1st, the Saturday before.
Slammy Mania.
What it's called? Slammy Slam Slam.
Wrestletown, USA.
Super Card of Honor
That's
11 in Lakeland, Florida. There are speculations that they'll work that show and then maybe do an appearance either at Mania or the next night. Once again,
I don't know what they'd have to do. There's no story for them to jump in to appear at Mania. There's no story for them to really insert themselves that I can think
Like you
of.
said, it's not like he needs them to appear for Mania because people are going to watch.
And no matter
Anyway.
what. Yeah, the Raw after Mania is typically a huge show, so possibly, but again,
Where we put 'em.
what are they going to jump into? They're going to jump into the tag team title picture? Because who do you think? I think Enzo and Cass probably walk out of WrestleMania as the champs.
I think you could throw them. You could throw them on SmackDown and immediately
Faces.
bolster.
First time champs, WrestleMania moment.
Yeah. But
Come on. Come on.
I told you earlier that I think you could throw them on SmackDown and it would immediately bolster the SmackDown tag team division.
I think you need a draft. You need to shuffle some of those guys. There's no jobbers except for the colognes on Raw. You know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you could be. I don't know. I think the tag team division.
You need to shuffle it.
I think the tag team division of both shows are in shambles right now, but that's another podcast. So.
Indeed.
Okay, cool. So next story, Mauro Ranallo, who has been noticeably absent from the past 2 episodes of SmackDown Live and 205 Live, and has also been absent from social media. He's obviously a huge Twitter user. Yeah, since the 14th. Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that the SmackDown announcer, who has had a history with mental health issues, is taking like a leave of health.
Yeah.
And friends of Ranallo have confirmed that he is well, and then he's just kind of resting up. But that is kind of...
It's weird the way so last week they said that there was weather issues, so there was a snowstorm, he couldn't make it. This week they said he was sick. I just wonder how much of that is true. If he just didn't want to say, I don't know. Hopefully, I wish him the best because I really like Mauro Ranallo.
Yeah, I'm obviously a huge Mauro Ranallo fan.
I don't want to rely on Otunga for any more words than he has to say already.
I wouldn't be sad to see us go back to like a 3-man table for SmackDown.
I don't mind 2-man tables.
No, 2-man tables are fantastic, but I do think Mauro Ranallo, and I've said this since he's came into the WWE, he adds a level of legitimacy to the commentary. I think given his contact sport or his MMA background, I think he kind of gives it a bit more legitimacy.
I'll say he's a little over the top. Overall, I think he's just a little bit over the top.
The references are a bit...
For pay-per-views, it's great. For episodes of SmackDown, sometimes he gets a little excited about things that I don't understand, but I like him. He's definitely my favorite SmackDown. So Todd Phillips is really good, too.
Now, interesting note from this as well, they did actually imply in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there might be something a little bit deeper kind of going on backstage that's kind of contributing to Mauro Ranallo's leave of absence from the commentary desk.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often that an announcer leaves. Like I'm trying to think, I don't remember a time ever when JR and Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler.
There you go.
I don't ever remember one of them guys taking a week off.
Right. Well, we'll see where this kind of goes. I would like to personally have Mauro Ranallo back. We do miss you, and
we would love to have you on the show.
In the off chance that you are listening, we wish you a speedy recovery and that everything turns out well for you.
If you need to talk to us, we're here for you.
So another little bit of news: Shawn Michaels revealed on an episode of the Sam Roberts podcast that he had in fact initially been offered the spot opposite AJ Styles for next weekend's upcoming WrestleMania 33. Quoting, "I guess I'm breaking something to you here, and I don't even know if I should, but I could have had that match. They didn't have an opponent for AJ at WrestleMania.
They still don't have a...
I said that I hadn't been asked because I hadn't, and then I was. I said, I wish that young man was here 10 years ago, man. I honestly do. I think he's very talented."
Yeah.
So...
I'm glad he didn't do it because I feel like he's a little bit past that. And why nullify his retirement match with Taker? And
it's just going to have to be one of those fantasy matches that we always just kind of like, we'll just never get it.
Yeah. I don't think it'll ever happen.
Sometimes fantasy.
They were teasing. So AJ Styles tweeted out for Royal Rumble, right? AJ versus Shawn at the Rumble because it was going to be.
Well, and I think that's why they initially approached Shawn Michaels about it, was that like, hey, there's a lot of interest in this match. Like, would you be interested in doing it?
I don't understand. So, okay, Kurt Angle talking about coming back, and they're like, okay, well, if he passes a physical, then maybe he can wrestle. They think guys like Taker, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, these guys were able to pass physicals and wrestles for the WWE, but they're worried about Kurt Angle, who's been regularly wrestling at all events.
That's kind of always
he's nonstop wrestle his whole career. He didn't take a year off at a time. He didn't let himself get out of shape, and then he had to get back in shape. So I don't understand what the concern with him passing a physical would be when they were allowing people like Taker.
I think it might be
those guys.
It might be the nature of the injuries that Kurt Angle has sustained. I know a lot of his injuries stem to the head and neck area. Yeah, and that's a very special case. It's almost like the same case with Daniel Bryan, where he probably physically could do it, and
Yeah.
he's been wrestling a lot
And he
more,
should.
and he's in better shape than a lot of guys that are still currently wrestling. But it's the nature of the injuries and the nature of what's going on with him that's preventing it from happening. Not necessarily like the stamina or the, in Undertaker's case, like he doesn't really. I mean, I'm sure he's had his fair share of concussions, but it's not like a prominent thing like it is with a Kurt Angle or a Daniel Bryan.
How many concussions? Kurt Angle's known for having concussions. I know he's had neck problems.
Yeah,
He won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. So
What?
his neck was broken. Did you ever seen the Olympics before? His head's plopping around.
Have you ever watched the Olympics?
But he's German suplexing guys left and right with a floppy head, and he pins the guy for the gold.
Oh man, the bobblehead.
Bobblehead Angle. He invented bobbleheads.
Did he really?
Yeah, they were like, look at this. He won a freaking gold medal. Make a toy
With
Okay.
a broken freaking neck.
I'm sorry, I got us off track.
Oh, goodness.
Have you seen the thing that WWE has posted on their website and YouTube channel?
Are you talking about Southpaw Regional Wrestling?
I am. Have you seen it, Mike?
Not yet.
You haven't seen
You're
Southpaw?
missing out.
Not yet.
Oh, it's so funny.
Corey, how would you describe Southpaw Regional? Well, what's the setup is
So it's like
found
1980s. They found a tape in the basement or whatever, and they pop it in the VHS tape. If you did, I don't know if you know what those are, but they're like black things, and somehow there's videos on them. I don't know how it works. You put it in this box.
Science.
It's like a Blu-ray player, but it plays this thing. I don't know. You pop it in there. So they're lost footage. So they're just like promos and stuff. No actual wrestling matches, at least not yet. Hopefully they do. But they're kind of poking fun of the regional southern, independent scene in the 1980s. Very hilarious.
Yeah, they have a
John
lot of...
Cena is on there as an announcer.
Yeah.
Fandango.
Which he's hilarious on that, by the way. John Cena
Utica.
plays Lance Catamaran. It's one of the two
Chet
announcers.
Chatterfield.
Chet Chatterfield
is
played by
Fandango.
Who else is really good
Clint Bobsky is Jericho. He's their interviewer. They have
what is Rusev's guy?
shoot. I don't know.
It sounds pretty epic.
It's so funny.
You guys are so
They all play these over the top characters. They got Chad Too Bad is Anderson.
Yeah, Carl
Anderson
Anderson.
and Gallows are both in it. The Ascension, they play surfer guys. They're a surfer tag team.
the two bad dudes with attitudes, or two awesome dudes with attitudes.
It's so good. You need to watch it when you leave here.
I will do just that.
Big Bart.
Big Bartholomew.
Big Bartholomew,
Yeah.
and then
his-
Tyler Breeze plays the real estate.
Yeah, he's the bad. I don't know.
I can't remember what his name. It's
And then
hilarious.
I don't want to give anything away.
The,
but-
the whole thing, it's like four like 7.5 minute long videos.
yeah, the
of just
shortest one's
them-
like 5 minutes. The longest one's like 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, just all of them like cutting promos and doing these backstage segments. And then I think the true star of the whole thing, for me at least, is Doc Gallows playing
What's his name?
Tex Ferguson.
Tex Ferguson.
Tex Ferguson. Oh my God, super funny. The way he's like leaning up on the car talking about his leather pants. Super funny.
Let me check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. So if
Check
you
it
guys,
out.
I
yeah,
trust you to.
Mike, check it out.
I
Type it in your thing.
yeah, type it in right. Well, wait.
I will.
Type it in so you don't
check
forget.
it out.
Hey guys, hold
Listen.
on. Yeah, listeners, hold on a
Listen.
second. We have to take a second so Mike can type
Southpaw.
this into.
I'm gonna check it. out.
SOUTHPOW. Sorry.
It's on the board.
Okay, yeah, just write it down. Type
You
it
can
in.
go to my Snapchat too. I put it on there.
Yeah.
Mike.
You can just go to my Twitter page. I have a link in my description.
Yeah,
There you go. It's done.
good stuff. All right.
Oh.
So the last little bit of news that we want to touch on, and a bit of just kind of just really sad news, and it always kind of hurts us to talk about this kind of stuff. Not to kind of bring down the entirety of the show, but it was reported last night on Twitter or tweeted out by Jim Ross, good old JR, probably pretty much the voice of
Growing up, wrestling.
all of our childhoods, that his wife, who had recently gotten into a Vespa, an accident with her Vespa, had passed away last night. They were, from all accounts, super close. And one thing that I actually noticed last night, when somebody like responds to somebody on Twitter, verified accounts go to the top of the list. So like when you're scrolling through all the responses to a tweet, the first ones that you'll see are from accounts that are verified with a little check mark and everything like that. The number of people who are like on verified accounts, which are usually like celebrities or industry
professional
people,
wrestlers.
yeah,
some of them.
The outpouring of love and respect for Jim Ross on Twitter and even all over the wrestling community has been absolutely just nothing short of an amazing sight to see. And obviously, like Jim Ross, WWE Hall of Famer, his contributions to both WWE and professional wrestling cannot be understated, or cannot be overstated, I should say. Just absolutely heartbreaking for him to be going through this. So,
yeah,
our thoughts and condolences go out to Jim Ross and the Ross family, and hopefully they get through these trying times stronger than ever. So,
yeah,
yeah,
sorry to hear.
Cool.
One love.
So moving on, we're going to be doing a recap. I got to get my notes out here.
Oh, snap. Someone wasn't ready. All right, so we're going to do Raw and SmackDown. This week, Travis is taking care of Raw. I took care of SmackDown, and Mike took care of the backup.
So I have a bit of a bone to pick with you, Corey. So
okay.
we're gonna peel back the curtain a little bit here.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna show you how the sausage gets made.
The sausage?
So every week after every episode, Corey and I decide who's going to cover what the next week. Typically, we just kind of back and forth.
Yeah,
but
we switch.
How is it I always get stuck covering the Raws that are just not very good?
I don't know, but I like the good Raws.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. You get to cover them every other week.
Well, they only do every other week good ones.
Yeah, we need to switch the schedule around, man, because like I'm getting like the shaft when it comes to doing.
Maybe
these
we
Raw
should decide
reviews.
after we watch both shows and be like, all right,
That's
which one
not
do you
the-
want to go back and take notes on.
That's not to say that Raw didn't have its upsides and didn't have some really good segments that I liked, but
I wouldn't say SmackDown was a home run this week either. I mean, there was some
but
some good bits, but
you know, SmackDown wins on just being the not as bad show this week.
yeah, it's
Sometimes
true.
that's all you have to do.
I mean, when we get to SmackDown, I'll talk about. There's some things that I'm not a fan of
Right.
what they're doing.
So we'll just kind of real quick thumb through our Raw.
Yeah,
Raw recap.
refresh my memory because I haven't watched it since Monday, and
So-
it is now Thursday. So
Monday Night Raw was coming to us live from Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays Center, which is becoming like one of my favorite venues for
Yeah,
anything
it's-
WWE.
It's very electric.
SummerSlam has been a huge success there, and then obviously the NXT takeovers have been a huge success there as well. The show starts out with Mick Foley coming out with a stack of note cards that have been prepared to him, as we later find out from Triple H and Stephanie, to announce his leave of absence before stopping mid-promo to tear up the cards and cutting into a very passion promo, basically about how he deserves better and how after 31 years in the industry, he gets handed note cards and
well, think about it. He does mess up a lot
Quite
of what he's
often.
supposed to say.
Quite often.
So, him getting no cards is not outrageous
This-
to me.
this segment-
Obviously, for the storyline.
This segment I actually did like, though. I
was
think it
good.
played out really well. Basically, during his impassioned promo, the mic keeps getting cut in and out, and as we find out in a couple seconds, it's Stephanie McMahon basically cutting him out so that she can come out and essentially, right on the spot, fire Mick Foley.
You're fired.
So, setting up for, I know they've been trying to take...
Triple H versus Mick Foley at WrestleMania.
Absolutely. Book it now. Let's go.
Look it now.
No.
Street fight.
Steph comes out, fires Mick Foley in the middle of the ring when Sami Zayn should come out and basically just come out to defend Mick Foley's honor, which is kind of cool. I think they've had a good relationship since Foley has been the GM of SmackDown, or of Raw, I should say.
Bad move.
Yeah, bad move.
Steph hates him already.
Steph and Sami Zayn get into a little bit. Basically, Steph tries to tell him, "Hey, get out of my ring. You're a B+ player," to coin a phrase from the Daniel Bryan feud. As Sami refuses, Samoa Joe comes out to basically be the muscle. Steph making a match between the two of them right then and right there, because thank God we haven't seen this match 1,000 times before. Joe's only been on the main roster for about a month now, and I'm already sick of this match.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the theme of Raw tonight, of Raw in general, is
I think most nights.
yeah. So nothing too notable about the Sami Zayn Samoa Joe match. It's a good match. It's a serviceable match, but we've seen it 1,000 times before. Samoa Joe picking up the W. We then cut to a backstage segment with Mick Foley making his way through the corridors, and it's a really cool kind of scene because you actually get this, like, you kind of forget that Mick Foley had as big of an impact as he did on Raw as the
lot of
GM.
them.
But then he's talking to Sami Zayn, thanking him for coming out and, defending his honor in the ring. And then you have him talking to Sheamus and Cesaro, who wouldn't be the tag team champions that they were at one point, or be a tag team in general without Mick Foley setting it up the best of 7 and having him do all that. And then he comes to the end of the line to meet up with Bayley. So it's basically just kind of going down the hallway, getting.
Who was there when Bayley was there?
So I'm getting there.
Oh,
Damn,
sorry.
dude. Holy
That's
God.
my favorite part.
Yeah. So
I like the bad guys.
Yeah. But you'll hear heel Corey. Got to play for your own team.
Trips
man.
is my fave.
So as he's commiserating with Bayley, Triple H, kind of out of the shadows.
That's dad.
He's like leaning up against something with with his hands in his pocket.
The only thing missing was
so
like
bad.
a cigarette out of his mouth and then flicks it.
If it was 10 years earlier, maybe he would have had a cigarette.
Pops the cigarette on the floor, puts it out in front of Mick Foley, blows the smoke in his face,
Have
and
a
goes,
nice
"Get out of my arena."
Dad's promos have been off the hook.
He's been on fire,
On
my dude.
fire, pops.
So. Nothing crazy. They then cut to a interview via satellite with a physician who is now claiming Seth Rollins will not be medically cleared for WrestleMania.
Not in a sanctioned match.
Not for a sanctioned match, which plays into some interesting stuff a little later.
They said if he does wrestle, that he'll be back the next day in my office, getting rehabilitated. I don't know if he talked like that, but
Was the physician was actually
this is Triple H with a mustache
played by Triple
over his existing facial hair. He put another mustache on.
which is now a character for Southpaw that I didn't know I actually wanted, but I actually want to see Triple H as like a physician on
Funny.
Southpaw.
Someone with a
regional wrestler.
mustache with a fake
Yeah.
mustache over top of it.
Yeah, super funny.
Hilarious.
I'm sorry.
You're
I didn't
fine.
mean to derail.
You're fine.
I like
It's
to
all right.
fantasy book.
No, it's cool. This is my favorite part of the show. I'm recapping Raw, and you're jumping in and telling me what you thought about the different segments. This is good.
So
man.
far, Raw hasn't been terrible.
So far. But then we get to
The first match of the night?
the first match of the night was Sammy and Joe.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay.
The first non-thrown together right then and there match of the night, which is Charlotte versus Dana Brooke, picking up from the newly created rivalry that they just started last week with
Just filler till WrestleMania or something?
I don't know, man.
You
I think
Dana's going to get involved at Mania?
be kind of interesting because in a fatal 4-way, there are no
DQs.
disqualifications. I could see Dana Brooke. I could see Dana Brooke inserting herself into the match, and so I don't think she's going to be a part of the match because I think it's
There's
already
yeah.
it's already a crowded
It's
room.
not a
as it
SmackDown
is.
Women's Championship
right?
match.
Which I still
we
want to
will
know.
talk about.
you know.
We will
Yeah.
talk about.
So we then are treated to a backstage segment with Bayley and Steph McMahon.
Who won?
Oh,
Dana Brooke and
Charlotte, please.
Oh,
Without even
who knows?
without even using
Without question.
without even using a proper finisher.
Did she use the what's
Was it the natural selection?
I
can't
hate
remember.
that move.
You hate it?
The natural selection,
Yeah.
the one she used on Sasha in the Hell in a Cell match,
Yeah.
was the worst one I've ever seen. It's
I don't
just
think
not a
it's
good
bad.
move. It's I've seen it look good, maybe a handful.
It is
of
one of
times,
it is
but
one of those moves that
it
has
just
a
looks
very
so weak.
Yeah,
or at least when she does
see
it
what-
sloppy, it looks weak.
I see what you're saying.
I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, Charlotte wins handily. It was good though. I got to see like Dana Brooke. I think give her some time in the ring. Let her kind of like get better in the ring. I think she's got a good look, and I think she's got a
Yeah.
good personality. And the crowd popped for her huge last week when she. I mean, granted it was Chicago, and they're one of the liveliest crowds that you can put a show on in front of, but she got a good pop when she turned on Charlotte finally and kind of like
Yeah.
face turned a little bit. So I could see Dana. I don't
Maybe
think
that's the
she's-
program after WrestleMania for Charlotte. 'Cause she's
Yeah.
not, I don't think she's going to be in the title picture right off the bat.
Oh, there's no. I
There's
don't
too
think
much
so.
stuff going on.
I think you're right. I think we'll see a program after Mania. I think Dana maybe inserts herself into the match and
Yeah.
kind of interferes
think
on.
so.
Yeah.
Can I
we'll
go
see.
off topic for 2
Of course,
seconds?
go ahead.
So I decided I was going to watch the episode of Nitro where Eric Bischoff announced that Mick Foley won the title on WWE.
That'll put butts in the seats,
So January 4th, 1999, I think is
which
the date.
is my birthday.
So I watched it. Your birthday is January 4th, 1999?
Yeah.
That's so cool. You're almost 20 years old. 2 more
Yeah.
years.
I know, man.
So I watched it, and Ric Flair just took over control of the company on that, the pay-per-view before that. So he came out, and Charlotte is there with him. And she's supposed to be, because I did the math on how old she is, she's supposed to be 12 years old. She looks like an 18 or 19-year-old. She's as tall as her dad. She's a 12-year-old girl. She's there with Ric Flair's other two sons. But she's standing in the background for the whole thing, and I'm like, holy crap. I didn't recognize her at first. Like,
which is funny because I had a Charlotte
she's so
crowd
tall.
sighting this week as well, because I went back and watched the WrestleMania 24 match, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair, and after the match, Rick goes out and kisses his family and hugs him and stuff like that. And Charlotte's,
well, so I looked on her Wikipedia page because you know how accurate that is, and it said that she was not seen in wrestling until midway through 2000. So that would have been like a year and a half after. I don't know. Maybe they don't count that as her appearing on wrestling, but she was standing there for like 15 minutes in the ring with her dad for this segment. All right, moving on. I apologize.
No,
I just thought
fine.
it was funny because for a 12-year-old girl, she looked like an adult.
Right,
She's huge.
Right. Yeah.
You're gonna love how tall she is.
she's so tall. We have the tallest women.
We have the tallest Charlottes in all of.
Backstage segment with Bayley and Stephanie McMahon, and there's a theme that you see throughout the night, so we can kind of lump these all in together.
Yeah.
But basically, the theme of the night is anybody who is a sympathizer to Mick Foley and his career as GM is now going to get punished. So,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of Stephanie's character, man. You know, she's a vacuum. She just kind of sucks all the fun out of the room. Stephanie makes a match between Bayley and Nia Jax. If Nia gets the win, she is inserted into the Mania match, making it a fatal 4-way.
So how many people are going to beat Bayley before WrestleMania?
Surprise, surprise. Nia Jax won and is now in the fatal 4-way. So we now have a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title, which was kind of the idea anyway.
Right. That was what they were saying like 2 months ago was going to be probably the storyline.
So next segment, we have the highlight reel, one of my favorite segments in WWE history, making its triumphant return to my television. Tonight's highlight reel, Chris Jericho promises to expose to us the real Kevin Owens.
This was good.
Very good segment. He goes all out for this one. He shows us a picture of Kevin Owens as a young Mark.
Yeah. Kevin Owens is a young Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I told you I would get that drop into this episode.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Shows Kevin Owens as a young Mark in his room doing the Y2J pose with the T-shirt and the
Jericho,
the chesty blonde, and then the sexy beast action figures in the background.
Two Jericho posters next to each other.
Two Jericho posters, unreal. Yeah. And then also shows he shows DMs from Chris Jericho or from
when he first got
Kevin
hired.
Owens when he first got hired by WWE, asking Chris Jericho for advice, and really good little, really good little highlight reel segment here.
Pulling reality into the storyline, which I love.
So they showed a
realistic
picture of
storylines
Finn too on Instagram in a Y2J shirt.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Well, who? I mean,
how do you not be a Y2J fan?
You get one of the few.
You're not. Oh,
because how were you not?
Oh, I was going to say you weren't.
One of the few.
Get out of here.
One of the few wrestling shirts I can remember owning in my younger days was the classic white Chris Jericho "Sexy Beast" T-shirt with the red ringer.
I had one similar to what Kevin, a black one that
with
said
the Y2J.
I had that. I had a Stone Cold shirt and an NWO shirt. That was my wrestling shirts.
Did you? What wrestling shirts do you remember having as a kid?
Like you said, those three. Those
Stone. Yeah, those are the only ones I had.
I never had a Stone Cold shirt.
What? I think that was the first one.
I had a
NWO.
Once again, we have to remember.
Sorry,
resident WCW Mark. I had a
Goldberg.
I had a DDP shirt. I remember having an NWO shirt.
You better have had a Sting shirt.
I think I did.
I had a Sting shirt, and I didn't even watch WCW. I had a Sting and an NWO shirt.
Who didn't love Sting?
Who didn't love Stone Cold?
You're right.
No, I love Stone Cold. I was a WCW guy.
Don't you have a Stone Cold shirt now?
I do.
Do you have the jersey or something? Who has the jersey?
I wore a Stone Cold shirt to last week's show for 316.
Matt has a jersey.
and I have a XFL New Jersey, New York Hitman jersey.
I saw that was.
Did you get that on eBay or something?
I did get that on eBay.
How much did you pay for it?
Oh God, it wasn't much. It was like $20.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't much at all.
That's not bad.
So
I guess the demand is not very high on those things.
Really cool. I like how Chris Jericho's coming at the angle of Kevin Owens can't beat me because he's my biggest fan, which is kind of a really cool way to look at this. Like he was just going to be starstruck once he gets in the ring with me at WrestleMania. Who comes out to interrupt the segment? Samoa Joe. Once again, kind of really hammering home this
Who do you think the third man is? Not counting Triple H.
Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's always the third man.
That would be so crazy.
Hulk Hogan's always the third man.
What if it's Roman?
No.
What if it's Roman?
We already know there's a connection between Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, and Triple H. Like there's a lot of rumors about there being like a stable between the three of them.
It's Roman.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think it would be Roman?
I think it could be Roman as a chance to try to get him over. He turns heel on Taker at WrestleMania. He's a mega heel. He teams up with the other two mega heels. You got Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns as the Samoan bulldozers, or what? Probably not call them that because that's already taken. That's already taken. The Destroyers. This generation's mega powers. You got Samoa Joe and Samoa Joe, the Joes.
The Samoan Joes.
The Samoan Joes.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens.
The box of Samoas.
I'm just saying it's possible, and it would be crazy enough to work to
Book
get
it.
Reigns over. I would be a Reigns fan, I think, if he joined their stable as a mega heel
I would like to see that. That would actually work out
with
really
Triple
well.
H.
Sometimes your fantasy bookings make me want to throw
I'm
my
just
face through a
saying.
drywall sheet.
Definitely that one.
That's a good one, though. I like that.
I think it would work. Not that I'm saying that that's the best
Can
option.
I still get Pete Dunne?
I would love Pete Dunne to be in there more than Roman Reigns, but
Why
Pete
not have
Dunne-
5 of them?
Pete Dunne's over.
Triple H
You don't need it.
overseas. Yeah, but like have him infiltrate the cruiserweight division as like their muscle in the cruiserweight division, and have him
Who's
kind
cruiserweight?
of like Pete Dunne.
he's
He's
not
the
a cruiserweight.
cruiserweight. He is a 205 pounds, or billed as.
I don't think so.
He is billed as 200. He was in the Cruiserweight Classic
He was
qualifying
not.
matches. He was in the qualifying matches for
He
the
was-
Cruiserweight
he
Classic.
was lighter than
He
was
lost.
a child.
He lost to Jack Gallagher in
He's
the qualifying
19 or something.
matches, and was originally slated to be in the Cruiserweight Classic. Look up his build weight. It is 205 pounds.
And if he's not,
There's a reason they call him the Bruiserweight.
because he bruises people with his weight. It's not that hard.
God,
He's
You know what?
5'10", I know that.
You're absolutely right.
Shoot. Nope, he's 93 kilograms,
Yeah, that's clearly not.
which is 205 pounds.
You're British. Thank you.
He's just on the line. He's on the cusp.
Yeah, well, so Cedric
You got
Alexander.
Neville down there that's playing that role already. That would be just a waste of space.
whatever.
Waste of Pete Dunne's talents. He could be whooping some butt on
Speaking
the
of
main roster.
cruiserweights, we have 2 cruiserweight matches this evening. We have the first of 2, Brian Kendrick versus TJ Perkins.
TJP.
Kind of interesting to see TJP jobbed out to Brian Kendrick, and like, I mean, he's the inaugural cruiserweight champion.
Feud-wise, TJ's got nothing going on. At least Brian's got a feud.
Yeah, but at least have a competitive
Akira
match.
Tozawa.
If you're the first cruiserweight champion and you can't even last more than 2 minutes against Brian Kendrick, whom you've had 15+ minute matches with before, not a good look for TJP. Then,
Well, he's
then
not
again,
good
dabbing is
anyway.
also not a good look for TJP. So.
I'm over him. He's no Tony Nese.
The real story behind this match was the post-match promo from Brian Kendrick, basically saying, "Oh, where's Akira Tozawa? Where's Akira Tozawa? Oh, I can tell you where Akira Tozawa is. I illegally stole his passport."
Do you know that doesn't make any sense?
That doesn't make a lick of sense.
How did you steal it? How did he get back to Japan?
Right.
If you have his passport, he is in
I don't
Japan
think
and he
Brian
can't get here. Did you
Kendrick-
steal it in? Did you go all the way to Japan to steal his passport? It just didn't make sense.
I don't think he knows how international travel works.
I don't think he knows how a lot of things. And then on 205 Live, didn't he say there was another? What was his lesson on 205? Do you remember?
Oh, it was things are
Another
not always as they seem, because
yeah,
it
another
was the
stupid-
security.
Yeah, another. It's like, what are you? How many?
This I
Is this going to be on Mania's card
no
pre-show?
No, pre-show maybe.
You're going to do a 2-hour pre-show.
Well, I can see it on the pre-show. So help me God, if they move the cruiserweight title match to the pre-show,
No.
jumping off the roof.
Well, they're adding an extra hour to the main show anyway.
Canceling your network subscription for you.
Actually, it's going to get renewed here soon. So
Oh, well.
who's paying?
Well,
I know you owe me like 5 burritos.
let's take this offline. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So the second cruiserweight match of the night was a rematch from Austin Aries and Tony Nese. Really good match, actually.
Did Tony Nese win?
Tony Nese did not win. He actually got hit by Austin Aries and his
Patented.
discus 5-arm.
Because it's better than a forearm.
Much better than forearm. Thank you, Corey Graves.
But Tony Nese should have won. Can we talk about that for a minute?
We cannot, because Tony Nese.
He's the premier athlete, first of all. So there's the one thing. What is Austin Aries?
has-
The greatest man that's ever lived?
He has 8 abs.
He has 8 abs.
He's got the the abs that you can see. He's got Joey abs. What's the other ab?
Absol, famous rapper from
TD.
California. TD.
Wow.
Shouts
There
out
you
to
go.
Top Dog Entertainment.
Shouts
I
out.
like it.
Shouts out to Black Hippie.
Shouts out.
Thank you.
You can hit us on Twitter. Audio Suplex Live.
He's got an anti-lock brake system, abs, if you will.
Okay.
It's a lot of abs. Yeah. Anyway, so those are your 2 cruiserweight matches for the night. I feel like Raw's doing this thing where they kind of just use the cruiserweight division, and they've been doing this for a while, but here's a trailer on Raw of what the cruiserweight storylines are, because you take like the 2 big storylines from the cruiserweight from 205 and just kind of do like a showcase match when they talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it's on just 205 Live. So it's just kind of like a
they're
little
even doing
peek.
it on SmackDown. SmackDown, they'll show a little advertisement for tonight's 205.
They've been having
Neville
like
come out like, I'm the king of the cruiserweights. And you're going to watch me after SmackDown.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are 2 cruiserweights things. They also had a video package throughout the whole evening because your main event for Raw at WrestleMania, the 2 contenders can't be bothered to actually show up to the show on a weekly basis. So we're forced into these video packages highlighting Goldberg and Lesnar, recapping the streak from WCW, and then Goldberg coming to WWE and glossing
I don't know
over.
how I feel about this match.
I can tell you how I feel about this match.
Could you do a noise that would describe how you feel about the match? a light fart. Oh,
That's how I feel. Joe, hit him with the toilet.
That's
how I feel about this match at WrestleMania.
That's what I was thinking.
Completely not looking forward to this.
Joe, hit him with the toilet.
But we are going to have, they do announce at the end of all these video packages that we are going to have a final confrontation between Goldberg and Lesnar on Raw next week. I'm sure it'll be like a ton of security guards pulling them off each other.
Oh, it's going to be epic.
So, Mike, after WrestleMania, do you think this is the last we've seen of we'll see of Goldberg in the ring?
I hope not.
Do you think he's going to stick
I
around?
don't know.
I hope not.
Raw's got
I like the nostalgia. I do agree that it's trash that people.
I understand it.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like drinking
butts and seats.
It's kind of like drinking Surge.
It tastes good. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Turns my pea green.
I hope
It doesn't. It doesn't. If it did, I probably wouldn't drink it.
I hope he doesn't just disappear, because like I said, I mean it's Goldberg.
You big Goldberg mark?
You're a big Goldberg mark.
You a big Goldberg mark?
Oh, hi, Mark.
I love that drop.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right.
All right.
So
you want him to stick around? I don't.
I don't know. Raw does need a general manager now.
Goldberg?
Ooh, no.
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 I'd rather have Kurt on Raw and not have him on SmackDown than have
Can we
Goldberg.
just pencil that in now?
Do you think Kurt's going to be the GM?
You want
Kurt Angle
so
is
bad.
He's been SmackDown GM
I
before.
want it so bad.
You want Kurt
I want
so
it so
bad.
bad.
I think I'd rather see him on SmackDown wrestling.
I just want it so bad.
Did you see? We're not on SmackDown yet, but American Alpha, they use the Angle Slam. That's one of their moves.
It's the gold medal slam. Thank you.
Angle Slam.
I saw that.
So we are then treated to an interview with Triple H and Michael Cole in the ring. Triple H starts laying into Seth Rollins and kind of piggybacking off what Mike said earlier. I think Triple H's mic work the last couple of months have been like
Phenomenal.
some of the best Triple H mic work I've seen in a long time.
He's always been pretty decent, I would say.
He's always been really good. I think
He's got a really good story. I think that's why he's able to get passionate behind it.
This is definitely my favorite storyline going on Raw right now, with hands down.
Agreed.
Which isn't saying a whole lot. Like if that sounds kind of like a damning.
I couldn't even second place. Kevin Owens and Jericho, maybe.
Yeah, that would be a solid second place for me. But after that, it's a very steep.
Yeah, nothing else. I'm really excited to see. WrestleMania is not going to be as. There's a lot of decent matches, but it's not going to be like a Mania that I'm like, oh, this is going to be the best Mania ever.
I think it's going to be surprisingly good. I don't think it's going to be as bad as a lot of the internet wrestling community would lead you to believe.
Do you think the outcomes of these matches are going to be as obvious as they appear to be? I think that it would be smart for them not to.
I'm struggling.
Swerves.
I'm struggling with how evenly matched some of these matches are.
It's going to be tough to call.
So this whole segment leads up to basically Triple H setting up for a harmless agreement signing next week from Seth Rollins, basically stating that if Seth Rollins wants to fight him so badly and the WWE universe wants it so badly, he will fight Seth Rollins in what I'm going to assume is probably going to end up being the equivalent, like a street fight or something like that.
Like when Shawn Michaels came back.
And they basically made him sign like
match.
So it was a non-sanctioned street fight, and that's what I think we're going to probably get here. That way they can kind of like mask whatever injury stuff that Seth's still going through, and then that way they can still put on something at WrestleMania and
worthwhile
go from there.
Yeah.
You think Joe or KO gets involved in
absolutely
the match?
They do.
You think that Seth has some backup help?
Absolutely, he does.
You think it's Finn Balor?
Absolutely, it is.
You think anybody else?
Book it.
Sami Zayn?
Absolutely, it is.
Book it.
And then we'll have a 3-on-3 rematch on the Raw after Mania.
No, well, they'll bring that out to the pay-per-view.
Until what pay-per-view?
Whatever the next one is after Mania.
Payback?
Payback, I think it is, yeah.
I don't know if that's SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah, it might be. No, because SmackDown's getting
Money in the Bank, but that's not until June.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
You thinking they're saving Finn for Mania?
Finn's not going to wrestle at Mania, no.
But he might make a run.
He might make an appearance. He might.
If you're gonna have,
help.
listen, if you're gonna have a heel group, you gotta have some. You have to have a group of faces.
Rollins
to go
is the one that injured him. You think he's gonna help Rollins?
Ooh.
I think Finn realizes that this is bigger than him.
What?
From a storyline perspective.
What if he goes to help him and then he turns and he's the third guy? And Triple H's.
Oh, book it.
You are on fire today.
Book it.
It would make sense. Look at him.
Listeners,
with that
that is
jacket.
hashtag Corey for creative.
Corey is on fire today.
Here's how I would have booked it.
So the second of the Stephanie McMahon Revenge Tour matches, in a segment earlier in the night, she runs into Sheamus and Cesaro and basically puts them in a 2-on-4 handicap match that they have to win to keep their spot in the tag team triple threat at WrestleMania for the Raw Tag Team titles.
Should have lost.
It's them versus Anderson and Gallows and Enzo and Cass. If you didn't see the outcome of this coming from a mile away with infighting between Anderson Gallows and Enzo
Right
and
off the
Cass,
bat.
right off the grip,
They attacked him right off the bat before the match even started.
So
They're
nothing
partners.
new there. Nothing really changes with the matches for Mania except for now that Nia Jax is inserted into the Fatal 4-Way, thus aligning everything to where it should have been in the first place. We are then treated to a pre-recorded segment with the New Day. Thank goodness they pre-recorded this.
I mean, they've been doing that for the last couple of weeks anyway, so it's not to believe that the reason they did a pre-recorded one is because of the incident. I would say
I do think with Kofi and Big E starting the segment by just kind of like eyeing down Xavier and go, hey, any big things you want to talk about from this weekend? Was a good way to start that segment. But we kind of talked about
that
it
was
earlier.
plenty.
That's all you needed to do. Final segment of the night, we have the long-touted rematch of Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, the big blow-off to their feud. It's been many, many weeks in the making now. Match is pretty good. I feel like these two guys, they're big guys. They can definitely go in the ring. They put on a really compelling match between the two of them when the match is actually allowed to kind of go and not interrupted by The Undertaker mid-match, which is what happened here.
So what do you think is going to go on with Strowman and Roman and Taker at Mania? You think Strowman's getting involved in the match at all?
For sure.
I mean,
that's what they're hinting at. Why Taker chokeslam? You don't think Strowman's going to
but
get revenge?
they also imply that Strowman realizes that he's not in Taker's league. Last week,
said that?
The whole segment with Taker coming out the first time to confront Roman Reigns, and then Strowman
You don't think that Strowman wants to be in that league, and then after getting chokeslammed on Raw, that he might want a bit of revenge?
I don't know, man.
I think Strowman's the type of heel where he doesn't pick good side and bad side. He doesn't like anybody.
Right, I agree.
And Taker's on that list because he was pissed at Goldberg for spear when Goldberg and Roman both speared Strowman. He was pissed at both of them. He went and hunted him down. He didn't do anything to Goldberg, but
I don't know, man.
Okay, was that the end of Raw?
That is the Raw ended with Taker chokeslamming Strowman to all hell. One thing I did want to point out though, he then takes a spear from Roman Reigns. Reigns is leaving up the ramp. Undertaker does a sit up. Oh my god! Yeah. One thing I do want to point out, and I think there's an interesting thing where did either of you guys notice Undertaker kind of like selling either like fatigue or selling like a bit of like pain, almost kind of like wincing. Like you could definitely tell that.
Well, he's old as his old.
I don't think that's true. I think he's selling it that way, and the reason I think is because it's going to play into the match where Taker just can't hang with Roman Reigns. Like
I don't think he could.
Roman.
Realistically, I don't think he can hang with Roman Reigns.
I think Taker's in better shape than I think a lot of people give him credit for. I think a lot of it is selling.
Okay, so I just recently watched The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30. So that was 3 years ago, right?
But that was
4 years
supposed.
ago.
That match was booked from a position to look rough, though. Like it was supposed.
Well, he got a
to look
concussion.
that way.
Undertaker had a concussion during the
Which
match,
is true.
But he looked like garbage. Like he couldn't pick up. He tried to pick up Brock Lesnar, and he couldn't do it at certain points, and he just looked not
It's
good.
super fatigued.
Yeah,
Nobody saw
not
the
good.
fake text message on Twitter from Undertaker to Roman?
Oh, I did see that actually.
I didn't see it.
You have to check it out.
You're not going to tell me what it said?
It's hilarious.
It's one of the you just have to watch it.
You have to watch it.
So that basically wraps up Raw. I thought it was a
His eyes. You
okay
have to
show.
watch
It was definitely the worst of the two between Raw and SmackDown this week. But Corey, what do you got from SmackDown?
Well, I'll try to breeze through it a little bit quicker than Raw was. Overall, I think SmackDown was pretty decent. The show opened. Well, I guess I should say we are in Uncasville, Connecticut.
It's the Mohegan Sun Casino. They've done shows there before, but it's not like really like a huge city or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. We had Tom Phillips, David Otunga, and JBL on commentary.
Still no Morrow. Get
Morrow.
well soon, Morrow.
Show opens. AJ's backstage. Dan Bryan, he's essentially bragging that he's not fired, and he's really pompous and on top of the world. He's wearing his WrestleMania gear. Obviously, he's going to have his WrestleMania match against Shane. So he goes out and announces that he accepts the challenge essentially put out by Shane McMahon. And he claims that Shane's week is about to get phenomenally worse. What are you guys doing?
I'm listening to you.
Are you texting people right now?
I'm trying to see if we have any viewers on YouTube.
Oh, I didn't text anybody while you were talking, so that's what
Spoiler. We
Send the
don't.
link out.
Okay. So he goes out there, blah, blah, blah. He said, I'm going to go out back and wait for Shane in the parking lot, just like I did last week. I had fun with that. Let's do it again. Moving on to our first match of the night, we had the Usos
versus
American Alpha. And what is the best match of the night?
Probably the best match of the week.
Probably, yeah. It was a decent match. Decent length. I think they went to commercial like 2 or 3 times during this match.
A lot of really good false finishes.
Yep,
Yes.
a couple times where we thought it was going to be over. Not as much cheating as Usos necessarily are known for. There was at the end of the match the spot where Jimmy or Jay, I don't know which one it was, tugged on, I believe it was Jason Jordan's leg, gave him a little crotch shot.
Yeah.
But the Usos won. We have new SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
They won.
Good move.
I think it makes the most sense. American Alpha wasn't really doing anything. They had beaten everybody, so if they beat the Usos, they have no WrestleMania matches because there's no contenders that
Right.
they
And
haven't
they can move the rematch to WrestleMania on the pre-show or something like that.
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody would be heartbroken.
Yeah, so who knows? I think it made more sense. It was a great match, and the Usos are on fire right now. Their heel persona is definitely catching on. They're getting some real heat, and they play really good heels. I mean, their heel tactics are really
It's super
top-notch.
funny because I think when they were faces, everybody was so tired of them as faces that they were going like, okay, when you guys are just going to turn them heel and let us
Right.
do that. And now that they're heel, I think they're going to have a hard time keeping them heel.
We'll see.
People love it.
Yeah.
People love this
They're
new
killing-
Usos.
they're killing
Yeah,
too.
they're good. So
Day
that was an
one-ish.
exciting match.
Day one-ish.
It was good.
Very good match, Us.
Yeah, overall, top notch.
Very
Definitely
good.
a thumbs up. After we get back from break, after that, there's a little promo backstage with Luke Harper. He's saying that Orton has opened Pandora's box with Randy Orton, and he has no idea what he's getting into, and that he will take care of Bray Wyatt and destroy him next week on SmackDown. So probably a non-title match. They didn't say anything about being for the title, but
It's good to see them not forgetting Luke Harper by the wayside.
yeah, I'm wondering if this leads to maybe Harper realigning with Wyatt now that Orton.
I don't think so.
I don't think it will, but we'll get to a part later here where I'm pretty sure Eric Rowan might have been one of the things. They were all dressed just like Eric Rowan. They had his jumpers on. So we'll move on. So Luke Harper saying he's coming for Wyatt next week. So we got that match to look forward to right before Mania.
It'd be a good main event for the go home show.
Yeah, I think so. After that, we have the first of several video packages presented by The Miz and Maurice, where they
Oh God, so good.
release the unaired episodes of Total Bellas, which is essentially a parody. We got The Miz playing one of the best John Cena's I think anyone can do, almost spot on. Obviously,
It was good.
exaggerated and over the top.
Oh my God, the whole bit throughout the night of him like fake proposing
Yeah.
to
Oh,
Nikki.
it's so funny.
Popping the
Where
I'm
he
going to
said-
give you a diamond Dallas Page
Page
yoga DVD set.
Oh yes, it was.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna-
pop the question, and it's a big balloon that says question on it. It was pretty great. Maurice did an amazing job playing Nikki and Brie Bella.
Phenomenal.
So
It's
funny,
So good.
so funny.
They
Maurice-
truly are an it
yeah,
couple, man.
It was good. It was very entertaining. I thought it was going to get old because they did it a couple times throughout the night, but every time it was the things they were saying were hilarious.
And I feel like sometimes
House rule number 8.
Right.
I feel like a lot of times those kind of segments have a tendency to maybe kind of like overstay their welcome or just kind of like be a little too corny. These were perfect. These were just done so well.
Something Miz would have done. It wasn't outrageous. It wasn't over the top for his character to do something like that. So I liked it. Hopefully they do a little bit more things like this. But again, don't overdo it. But top-notch stuff. Moving on from there, we have, let's see here. Oh, Randy Orton versus Baron Corbin. So we have our number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship taking on the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. As soon as they announced this match as coming up, I was like, okay, Dean's going to interfere in this match. You can't have Orton pin Baron clean. You can't have Baron pin Orton clean. It's just not realistic. You don't want to make either of them look too weak. And towards the end of the match, I don't know if you noticed all the crowd.
Yeah, it
Dean,
was
Dean. They were chanting Dean essentially, and everyone was looking at the entry ramp, and the commentators are just playing dumb. Like they don't see or hear anything.
It was one of those situations where I get it, like, because what ended up happening, Corey?
Well, Dean is out there on a forklift, standing on top of a forklift, essentially just distracting Baron Corbin for a second, and Randy Orton hits the RKO out of nowhere, gives a little salute to Dean as a thank you, like thanks for the distraction. He gets to 1, 2, 3, and Dean Ambrose essentially accepts the challenge by Baron Corbin for an Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania.
Let me stop you right there. Am I the only one who thinks that the Intercontinental? It's good to see a just one-on-one match for the Intercontinental title,
as opposed to a ladder match.
I feel like this match is begging for a stipulation. Like it's got to be like a no disqualification or a falls count anywhere.
I would hope it's not a forklift match or something.
No,
stupid
nothing,
like that.
Nothing bad. But like it's been a while since we've had like a good like.
I don't like too many gimmick matches at WrestleMania, and not that we have a ton of gimmick matches so far, but. You have Triple H, Seth Rollins,
which will probably be like a street
some
fight.
sort of match like that. You have the women's SmackDown match was going to be a multi-woman match. You have your Fatal 4-Way for the women's title. You have a triple threat for the tag match.
So you think it would be like overkill to make this like a falls count anywhere? But I think like the way they've been
need
setting
at least
up
a couple straight one-on-one matches. I would understand, but this is their first. This is his first title match. There's no need for a stipulation unless. He's cheated before in a match. I just don't think.
But a lot of their segments have taken place backstage with like the forklift and like I just could see that.
Probably because it's easier to pre-record that crap and air it on SmackDown.
You might be right, man.
With the time that they have, the time constraints. It's possible. I don't know. We'll see. It's very possible that they could do a stipulation. I don't think it needs it. I think it'll be a good match regardless. But it was a pretty decent match. Unfortunately, Baron Corbin.
The next pay-per-view is actually Payback. Right after Raw.
Payback.
Yeah, so you were right.
Is it Raw? It's just Raw?
It's just Raw, yeah. And then the next one after that is Backlash, once again for SmackDown.
Backlash this early in the year?
Yeah.
Wasn't Backlash?
They're shuffling around, man. Then Extreme Rules, and then Extreme Rules
well, last year, Backlash was SmackDown's first solo pay-per-view, so that would have been August. Or something. Okay. We're going to move on. After Orton won his match, he went backstage and was interviewed by Renee Young. During the interview, the lights start flickering. Obviously, something is amiss. We have all these druids, or whatever you want to call them, sheep people, surround Randy Orton. And they don't necessarily attack him first. He kind of attacks them, and then they hold him down and beat him up a little bit. And Bray Wyatt comes and... he says, burning down the Wyatt family compound has changed him. It made him stronger than ever. I think this was a very cheesy... I mean, I get it. It's just not super realistic. It's a little over the top. I know that that's what wrestling does. I'm just not a fan of the...
This is taking me out of the feud a little bit, kind of like when the feud initially started and they did that really bad segment with Randy Orton looking in the mirror.
Why does it have to be all paranormal crap?
Yeah.
I don't know. I did mention earlier, all of the sheep guys were dressed like Eric Rowan. They had the greenish body zip up thing and their sheep mask. Obviously, I think by looking at them, none of them necessarily looked like Eric Rowan. I saw a lot of them had brown hair and stuff. They're probably wrestlers on the show that just didn't have anything to do that night. But
Breezango, the Ascension.
So who knows? But yeah, I think this might set up something for Eric. I think Eric Rowan is coming back before Mania or at Mania,
or the SmackDown after.
Because the only thing that's going to make sense. So I see Randy Orton winning at Mania. He had some. Okay, look at this. The RKO has been booked. What, the strongest finisher in all of wrestling lately?
Second to maybe Sister Abigail. That one's been a very protected finisher as well.
Okay, so they both have the ultimate finisher.
Right.
Which one of them is known for hitting a crazy finisher at WrestleMania every year? So you think Bray Wyatt's going to kick out of an RKO?
I don't know, man.
I think what they
You'll
need
have
to do...
You'll have to tune into our WrestleMania special next Friday night.
They're going to need to stack the deck against Randy as much as they can. So they're going to have maybe Luke Harper, Eric Rowan in his corner to really stack the deck against Randy Orton to make his win more monumental, I think.
We'll see, man. I don't know.
We'll see. But I think that's what's going to happen. Okay. What's going on after that? Their next match, big match from Southpaw Regional Wrestling. We have Juan Cena taking on Fandango.
So basically what happens is your commentary team gets to a certain point with each other where they just have to take it to the ring.
That's right.
We have
seen
Lance
it before.
Catamaran versus Chet Chatterfield in the ring. Kind of interesting to have. Like, do you think that was a callback to?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure. That's something that John Cena would definitely want to do. We have Breezy Bella making her debut as Fandango's.
It's about time,
manager.
man. I think the women's division on SmackDown could use like some fresh faces.
Wouldn't that be interesting if
we just bring
Breezy Bella is in the women's invitational SmackDown match?
Why not just have like Santina Morella win the whole thing?
In my notes here, I said John Cena beats Fandango. The only note I took is Tyler Breeze plays a pretty good Bella. Is what
he does a very good. Did you see the YouTube video that Nikki Bella put on her YouTube channel afterwards? So they recorded a really funny backstage segment where she comes across Tyler Breeze in the Bella costume. And then like she starts like doing like the mirror thing, and he like mimics every move that she does, and then they start getting into it, like, you know, fighting with each other, and then John Cena comes up and goes, "Guys, stop it! You know, this is not how I see the woman I love." And then he takes Tyler Breeze's arm and like walks off with it. Super funny.
That's so funny.
Probably one of the funniest things I saw this week.
So that match, John Cena won, obviously.
What?
Yeah.
Typical John Cena burying the mid card down the card there.
Exactly.
People like, you know, Fandango can't get anywhere.
We're going to move on to our last match of the night. Not our last segment, but our last match of the night. We have fan favorite Carmella with James Ellsworth taking on hated heel Becky Lynch.
My favorite thing about James Ellsworth at this point is the way John Bradshaw Layfield talks about him.
Oh, he's a bully.
It's so good. It's so delicious.
So the match ends in no contest. Natty, who was on commentary for the match, interfered. Technically, I don't think it should have ended in no contest because Natty attacked. Who'd she attack? I think she attacked Carmella. So technically, Becky Lynch should have, or Carmella should have won by DQ.
Welcome to Who SmackDown Is It Anyway, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter.
So there, and then obviously we have Mickie James comes out and Alexa Bliss comes out to join in on the fun because why not? They're trying to
kind of a weird thing that Alexa would come out and throw herself in the mix. Like you would think as champion, she like I was
just come out and stand at the top of the thing like, yes, peasants.
Yeah, fight with each other. Like I don't have to fight you guys.
Exactly.
That was a weird thing. And then I meant to mention this during Raw. Did anybody else find it weird that during the Nia Jax and Bayley match, which was a no disqualification match to get Nia Jax inserted into the match, the first like no disqualification match in like women's history since like the title change that they had that one time?
Yeah.
Why didn't Sasha or Charlotte come out and
help then
and help
to make it easier for them to win?
Yeah, because you think a triple threat would favor them.
Especially if Nia Jax is the fourth person, like
right, you don't.
She's a monster.
If you're Charlotte and Sasha, you do not want Nia Jax in the match.
Right. Well, it's storyline.
It almost seemed kind of pointless to make it a no disqualification match. What? So Nia Jax can throw Bayley into the barricade a few times.
Yeah.
That happens anyway during a normal match between the two of them.
Facts.
Psychology. Come on, guys.
I guess
Corey for creative.
It ends up making sense for Alexa Bliss because she's the one standing tall at the end of the segment. All the other women are knocked out. She stands there with her belt in the air, so she didn't end up getting beat up.
Can you really say standing tall if she's only 5 foot?
Yep.
Okay.
Compared to women laying on the ground, she is a little bit taller.
5 feet of fury, man.
I wrote down here a couple possible entrants into this, what I believe. They made it feel like it's going to be more of a multi-women match as opposed to a gauntlet-style match.
I feel like it's going to be a gauntlet-style match because they haven't officially said.
Well, the way that they had all the women run in and fight each other all at once, I feel like that, and time-wise, because you're taking up a big chunk of WrestleMania's clock if you're going to have 7 women's matches in a row.
Right.
Have a couple quick, eliminations right off the bat.
I think it's going to be a multi-woman match.
So who are your hypotheses?
There's a lot. You'd be surprised. So we have Natty's in it, obviously. Mickey James, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and Becky. Those are the only ones.
Those are the givens.
They're pictured already on the website or whatever. I think possible add-ins on the SmackDown roster. We got Naomi, who potentially could be back. I think it would be a huge pop. She'll probably win the match, in my opinion.
If she comes back, absolutely. It'd be kind of like the Zack Ryder moment of this WrestleMania.
Exactly. So that's a huge one. We have Eva Marie is a SmackDown women's wrestler who has been off TV.
Yeah.
Very plausible.
I would love to see her be like, if it is like a everybody in the ring at once. Yeah, I would love to see her as the last entrance
and have the announcer guy.
Oh my god, the most
good.
Beguiling.
Yes,
so good.
Asuka, possibly. We've talked about that a little bit.
I'm really starting to get on board with that idea. I think Galberg needs to come up to the main roster and just show everybody what a kick to the head feels like.
I still have several more possible entrants. We have.
Here,
I don't know.
Wait. I will give you a thumbs up or thumbs down if I think they are likely or not.
Well, they're probably the rest ones aren't that likely, right. But we had Kelly already say that she's going to be at WrestleMania. She already said it like a month or two ago that she will be at WrestleMania, and she's been in talks with WWE. So, where else would she fit on the card?
Flush it, Joe. Too late.
Okay, we got Tamina is back on house shows. It would make sense to throw in another woman.
Reintroduce her.
She's not on SmackDown or Raw as far as I know.
She has been doing SmackDown house shows.
So there you go.
So
we have possibly rumored that WWE has been contacting older wrestlers, older female superstars for this gimmick match.
Like Alundra Blaze?
Possibly Lita. Possibly Victoria.
I would love to see her. She needs to make a WWE return.
And then recently leaving TNA, Maria just left TNA with her husband, Mike Bennett.
Yes.
And she apparently has signed with someone, but she's keeping it hush-hush and not telling anyone, which sounds very much like WWE has done that.
I would like to see some Maria Kanellis back on my television. I'd be okay with that.
The only other one I missed, Summer Rae has been pictured and has been seen at the Performance Center training, and she posted a picture with the words WrestleMania in the background on Summer Rae's Instagram. So
be kind of cool to see her back.
That would be another tease. Possibly she was.
I'm gonna go on Summer Rae.
I think most of those are kind of probably not. But
Maria would be a good.
I think if all of those women were in that match, it would be actually pretty interesting to see. Yes.
So
we're not done with the SmackDown. We got one more
segment.
We got AJ Styles backstage in the parking lot waiting for Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon comes out to the ring. He is not appearing.
AJ got duped.
Yeah, Heath Slater and Rhino came out of the car that he thought had Shane McMahon, because Shane McMahon, of course, would show up to SmackDown in the last 5 minutes of the show.
He showed up an hour late last week.
He showed up almost 2 hours late this week.
One of the funniest things I saw on Twitter this week was somebody asked, I think it was Heath Slater on Twitter, what him and Rhino were doing showing up 5 minutes before the show ended. And he goes, "We were at a party."
We were at a party.
Well,
they were saying Shane was on the phone with Dan Bryan explaining his plan to Dan about how we're going to avoid the AJ Styles thing. Maybe Shane just cut Rhino and Heath Slater a check. Hey, pull up in this car, I'll
give you a pair of Jordans.
Yeah, exactly.
Come
in. We're going to trick AJ Styles. I'll cut you a check. You pretend to be me.
He duped him.
Either way, someone goes backstage. I don't remember. Renee Young, somebody tells AJ Styles, like, hey, Shane's in the ring. So he goes out there. He apologizes for everything that's happened. He says he wants to go shake his hand, makes his way into the ring, and Shane beats the crap out of him.
Goes right in.
Crap out of him.
Literally, with fury, attacks him, takes him outside the ring, throws him on the announce table, climbs to the top rope, and drops an elbow right next to him on the announce table. Doesn't actually hit AJ Styles, but we're going to pretend that he landed on AJ Styles. Hits the elbow, And that is the end of SmackDown. Shane McMahon on top of AJ Styles.
Isn't that how they set up for Undertaker, Shane? Like
He just likes elbowing people through the table.
He really likes going through those tables.
That was a move on at WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The table spot where
Yeah,
he
but
elbowed him?
he did it.
Missed?
He did it on Raw too, against I think it was Taker as
A
well.
new bag of tricks.
Except last year when he did it on Raw, he did it in a $1,300 pair of shoes, as opposed to this one. It was more of a
Fool.
I as a sneaker enthusiast, I keep up on like what Shane's wearing to the ring. He's been wearing a lot of ones lately. He's a big one guy.
He's a big one guy.
Used to be a 3 guy.
I'm a big 5 guy.
Yeah,
5 guy burgers.
burgers
and
and fries. Yeah, friends of the show.
Are they 5?
They don't know yet, but
All 5 of
they'll
them
be
are
friends
good
of the show. So, what do you think? SmackDown versus Raw.
SmackDown, I think.
Here comes
was
the
better.
pain.
I think SmackDown was better this week, although
On merit of just not being Raw.
it wasn't great. It wasn't a great SmackDown, but
Mike, listen, man. You got to even admit, SmackDown.
are you a Raw guy?
I mean, like you said,
Overall, are you a Raw guy?
Overall, back in the past, yes. But
In the past, yes.
I will.
Yeah,
but
that
I will
doesn't
admit,
count for anything today.
I will admit, SmackDown. I enjoyed the tag match. The
SmackDown
tag match,
is-
the
yeah.
tag match was awesome.
Match of the week, probably.
Match of the week.
Match of the week.
All right. I like that. We should do a match of the week every week.
Ooh.
All right, so
Do you want to do a personal match of the week, or are we going to do our
yeah, we can just do
individual
our,
match?
our picks of like what the match of the week was.
I think we all agree that the tag match was probably the match of the
easily,
week.
I
easily.
agree.
Another segment that another thing that I wanted to steal from another podcast, and I'm a big fan of that. I think we should do episode MVP. So I think
Mike's the MVP.
No, I think the MVP. Honestly, my dude, for this week, Corey,
No, yours are freaking.
you're on fire tonight, man.
Oh,
You're-
with my
you're-
booking?
Yeah, your
You were
fantasy
NBA
booking.
Jams.
Yeah, you
on
were
fire
boom
today.
shakalaka. He's on
Is it
fire.
the shoes?
Oh man, classics.
All right.
I love NBA Jam. So let's do our plugs and get the hell out of here.
As always, you can find us on Twitter at Audio
Suplex.
Suplex Live. You can hit us up personally at I am at heel_Corey on Twitter.
I am at XDrTX on pretty much every social media platform there is. Now, Mike, real quick, you have a project coming out soon.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about it.
Next week, I have a mixtape coming out Monday Night Raw. Over all wrestling beats.
Nice.
Stealing an idea from Smoke Dizza, and yeah, he's the person who do it. So
But
next
you're going to
week,
show them how it's done.
next week it will be out. But yeah, I'm on Twitter, MikeZ521.
Check them out.
Check them out.
I'm
Check
sure
out the
we'll plug
video.
it again.
Check out the video for Triple H. Really cool. It's good to
I-
see you with Big Gold out there and
Yes.
the sledgehammer. It's super cool.
It's
Super
time
cool.
to play the game. Check it out on YouTube.
So you can sorry.
Go
Go
ahead.
on. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play.
No way.
Just search Audio Suplex Live. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like, share our videos. Like us on Facebook. Send us money.
And if
send
there's
us
anything you'd like us
merch.
to talk about, we're thinking about doing a roundtable show soon. So if you have anything we'd like us to discuss, hit us up. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys
Next week.
next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we would like to thank the band Wax for our intro and outro music. You can check them out at waxoh.bandcamp.com. You have been listening to the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.